So if you ever mess with dead trees like this, be very, very gentle with them. You cannot manhandle these trees or anything because the tops will snap out and they'll be back on top of you. There's been a lot of guys killed over the years shoving trees like this. Again, be very gentle, very delicate with your moves on whether you're on a machine or a tractor or anything like that, because the top, when it breaks, it's going to come back out and end up on top of whatever you're pushing it with. Very tempting to cut through the hinges. I talk about that all the time. Do not cut through your hinges when you're cutting trees, whether they're dead or they're alive or what. Don't cut through your hinge, because once you cut through your hinge, you have lost all control of that tree completely. When you cut that hinge, that's your attachment point to the stump of that tree. It's basically your seat belt in your car, if you will. You would not take your seat belt off going down the road 70 miles an hour when you still had 5 miles to go to your house. And that's what that hinge does. That hinge keeps that stem attached to that stump and guides it to the ground where you want it to go. Once you cut that hinge, or that hinge breaks, then the top of that tree, gravity takes over, and the top of that tree tries to seek its attachment point. That's the reason why you see a lot of trees with people come flying back off the stump, go here, there, and yonder, or if it hits something on the way to the ground, it twists and turns. So if you're wanting to learn about this stuff like this, I have 2 chainsaw classes coming up, Chainsaw University, where I teach everything about chainsaws. The first class is November the 12th and the 13th, and the second class is December the 3rd and the 4th. The first day of the class is on a Friday afternoon. It starts at 5 p.m. We run from 5 to 8 p.m. on that Friday night. I started on that Friday evening at 5. That gives people time, the chance to travel here to my area. We do it here at my place on my property, and you come in, and then Saturday morning we start back up at 8. We run from about 8 to about 4. I teach you everything about chainsaws. When you first get here, I'm going to check your saw out. We're going to go over things, make sure your chain brakes work and all that stuff like that. And we're going to fire up and run, cut some cookies, do some playing out there. I'll have saw stations set up for everybody, and we're going to run for a while. Then we're going to come into the shop, and we're going to start tearing the saw apart. I teach you everything about a saw, bar, chain, maintenance. I teach you how to sharpen a saw. I teach you about 3 different methods. I teach you all about the different chains and bars and bar maintenance, sprockets, how to take care of all that stuff, how to change sprockets out, spark plugs, air filters, reduce downtime maintenance completely on the whole thing. Then we come back in here Saturday morning. We get in the classroom. We start going over reactive forces. Reactive forces are your bar tips. I teach you how to bore, how to use your bar tip properly. We get into the felling. We get into compression and tension, and I teach you the 5-step felling plan. I teach you how to judge the height of a tree, how to figure front leans, side lean, back lean, all that stuff like that. Exactly what to do with a tree, when you bore it, your back cut technique, just everything about that. We also get into situational stuff where I actually mock some stuff being hung up, working it down. I show you how to take it down. Then we actually do boring and cutting. It's a controlled environment here in my place. I take and I stand stems up with a mini excavator, and we actually judge it, face it, notch it, bore it, and then drive a wedge in it, and then cut the trigger. And like I said, it's a very controlled environment. We're not dealing with a real tree, but it's actually a real enactment. So if you're interested in coming to the chainsaw classes, it's $400 per person, and that also gets you lunch on Saturday that I prepare. It's usually a barbecue lunch that I fixed ahead of time. and Jill brings it down there, and we eat and everything like that. Email me down below, and we'll get together and get it all situated. I do have spots left in both classes, so don't worry about that. I usually always have one or two that ends up dropping out right there the couple weeks before. So there's usually generally always space. I limit it to 10 people, and it usually ends up being about 8 to come. But it's a very high value thing. I mean, you think $400, that's a lot of money. It's actually not, because you can make that back in a matter of about 5 minutes on one tree, no problem. And what better way to invest in something than invest in yourself? We're coming up on the Christmas season. Maybe perhaps this could be a Christmas gift for somebody or something like that. If you want to bring your wife, girlfriend, or anything, bring her too, or whatever. And I'll also feed them. They can hang out, more than welcome to do that. So very good time, great time to meet other people and hang out, other like-minded people. There are a lot of chainsaw enthusiasts out there. So again, if you're interested in it, email me down below, and we'll get to talking and what have you. So plenty of hotels about 8 miles from my house, so plenty of lodging and things like that. So saws that I'm running in this video, this is the 400C Stihl. This is it's a 67cc saw. It's got a magnesium piston in it. It's something new to the two-stroke world that they're introducing. Supposedly Husqvarna's got a magnesium piston saw coming. I have no idea when it's going to be available. I hadn't heard anything else about it, but they're supposed to have something like that too. This saw has a 25-inch bar on it, slight bar on it. The saw laying right there in front of my bar. That's my original Screaming Demon 550 XP Mark II. You'll see me run it here in a minute when I'm running over the gravel right there, cutting this big white oak up. But I like the 400 a lot, and the reason why I do is because it's so light. The saw bar chain, 25-inch bar, full of gas and oil, weighs 18 pounds, 6 ounces. And that's a good bit lighter than a 562 Husqvarna. And for me, I'm about making money. And the fact of the matter is, the more that I can run in a day, this was actually my second job to do in a day. You know, running through, if I can roll in, do a job in a couple of hours, collect the money, get back on the road, go do a second one, and not being slap give out, get back home 2 o'clock, had a good day, stuff like that. that's what I'm gonna do. And I've also here coming up, probably gonna be selling a few saws here. Probably gonna sell my 562 that I got in March of this year. I'll be selling it. It's going to be in the $600 price range on that saw. That saw is mint. And then I've got two Husqvarna 335 XPT top handle gas saws. They're going to be in the $300 price range for each of those saws. And then I may part with some other ones. I'm not going to keep these saws real long, probably, 9 months to a year, not much longer than a year, and I'm going to roll them out and replace them with something else. Runtime on them won't be very, very long. Not a lot of use as far, because I got so many saws that I spread it out through them all. So anyhow, again, if you're interested in the saw class, hit me up down below. Saw it's cut.
You ain't lying, it'll cut. Woo, Lordy, that's not gonna get it.
Yes, sir. Sure will.
Man. Is that a special chain or something you got on there? Or you just keep
Nah,
it
it's
sharp?
just how I sharpen them. I may not be able to do a lot of things in life, but I can sharpen a freaking chainsaw.
I believe you can. I believe you can.
I can sharpen a chainsaw, man.
Well, I can sharpen axe and stuff like that. I ain't too good on a chainsaw. And I can't sharpen a pocket knife.
Yep. Oh man, yeah, that saw right there is rolling right there, buddy.
You ain't kidding.
And stuff. It'll do it to it.